Hello everyone, this is Steven Shinder Reviews in video form. Getting this in just hours before Malcolm in the Middle Life's Still Unfair drops on streaming, so let's go with some last minute predictions for Malcolm in the Middle Life's Still Unfair. First prediction, cold opens. If it's a series instead of a movie, they better use that. Include the weird random cold opens of absurd antics. Next up, the title sequence will probably be in the style of the original title sequence, with the TV quality being subpar, camera looking at TV screen type of thing, but the footage itself will be what the family members have been doing the past couple decades, sort of a montage through time catching us up, even with new actors playing the characters during certain points, but the subpar TV quality will be perfect for that, as he won't be able to make out things like, hey, that's not one of the old Jamies or the new Jamie, so it would be seamless. Now, next prediction. In the trailer, we see a funeral. Lots of people think it could be Otto or Ida, like maybe Francis inherits the ranch from Otto, but their evil grandma, Ida, living for a whole century, sounds like this show's brand of comedy. She lives for a century and then passes away, but I'm gonna say it's not Ida's funeral and that she's still alive, played by a different actress, but the family still has to put up with her century-old self's wickedness. I'll also predict that Lois's biological father, not Vic, factors into this show somehow. Maybe he shows up, maybe it's his funeral, I don't know. It feels like this show is about reconciling with family, this mini-series that is, so having some sort of element of Lois's biological father would be an interesting angle. Another thing that could come back, the nuclear option revealed in the series finale. Remember, Dewey kept it. It wasn't destroyed. I think Hal and Lois will find out about the fake x-rays that made Lois think she was dying, and it'll blow everything up, pun intended. Just one last thing related to death. Malcolm faked his death. It seems like he's bizarrely managed to avoid his family's radar. In the trailer, Lois seems surprised to learn Malcolm has been intentionally avoiding the family for years. It could be as simple as Malcolm always making excuses and just not telling them he has a daughter, but Malcolm faking his death just feels like one of those out there things that would be perfect for this type of show. Speaking of lies, that brings me to Francis. In the series finale, he got a stable office job, but didn't want to give his mom the satisfaction that he got such a job. So I'm gonna predict he's still trying to keep up the lie, and whenever he's around his mom, he has to come up with some outrageous stunt that makes it seem like rather than having the desk job, he's going nowhere with these random unstable jobs. The twist? Lois already knows, and Francis has been putting all this effort putting on a show for nothing. I think Jamie could also be having something similar going on. In this video call amongst the family in the trailer, he appears to be in the Coast Guard based on the background, but maybe that's a virtual background. He's not really in the Coast Guard, or he was and then bailed, and is putting on a ruse to get his parents off his back. Jamie might seem like he's got his stuff together, but maybe he's actually more mischievous, like his brothers. As for the younger sibling, Kelly, I think they're non-binary because they wanted to rebel against Lois and not give her the daughter that she always wanted. If true, I'm curious how this would be handled and how the reception over this from the NB community might end up being. Hopefully there's no disrespect that goes on. I also wouldn't be surprised if Kelly were in some sort of punk rock band. That would be pretty cool. Maybe cover Boss of Me by They Might Be Giants? Now on to Reese. A mere couple episodes before the series finale, Reese seemingly got scared into becoming a vegan. I don't recall him eating meat explicitly in the last 2 episodes, but either way, it'd be interesting if he's still vegan and maybe even tried opening a vegan restaurant. People have been wondering why Reese doesn't appear to be some sort of successful chef in the new show. My prediction: he tried opening a restaurant at some point, but he called it Reese's Restaurant and ran into some legal issues because Reese's is also a chocolate peanut butter thing. So now he seems to be bouncing from job to job, and I'm also going to predict one of the things he did for money was donations. You know, Reese's Cups, which could lead to Reese's Pieces being made. Maybe the miniseries will even end with him being swarmed by children he learns are his. Maybe they try beating him up, and he screams in agony over this overwhelming turn of events. Now, Dewey. I'm sure there will be some sort of meta comment about this being a different Dewey, but also honoring the OG Dewey. Maybe some line about how we are different people but should remember who we were in the past fondly, or something. I don't know. Anyway, I believe Dewey is performing a music piece during this shot where we see all the rest of the family, and the piece is very much about the family. I think it's a song that'll tie a bow on the whole thing and make the family come together more or less. Maybe he even plays Boss of Me and They Might Be Giants show up. I just really want the song to exist within the show itself, okay? The Boss of Me music video is canon. I don't care what you say. Hal ate a tiny person he thought was a hot dog or hamburger or something, and Dewey screamed about it. I'm also going to predict that the show will confirm their last name. Not Wilkerson, not Nolostnamy. Those will be wiped out. It'll be Boomer, as in the show's creator Linwood Boomer. It's been said this family is about his family, so maybe they'll go for something sentimental and on the nose like that at the end. Remember how in the finale the family expected Malcolm to become president? It seems like he's not. I think there will be some cheeky comment about the current administration, how Malcolm was old enough to run for 2024. Lois would be like, "You didn't run and now look what happened." And then Hal would be like, "The bar was set so low in 2016, son, you could have had this in the bag." Lastly, Malcolm's fourth wall breaks will be addressed. Maybe at the end someone will look at him and say, "Who are you talking to?" Alright, that's it from me. Let's see how things play out in Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair. This is Steven Shitter Reviews in video form, and thanks for tuning in.